Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Villas, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, pleasure to be with you, man. How you
I saw
doing?
your face of relief that I didn't go with the with an alternate nickname for you, sir.
In another universe, that was the
In
intro.
another universe, that would have been the intro, but I had mercy on you.
Oh,
Oh
geez.
man,
Good
how
times.
how are you, dude?
Man, I'm doing great. Life has been busy, as we say a lot here on the show, but truly has been really busy. As you may notice, some of you watching, I'm
Oh.
in a new environment. This is going to be my new space here for the show. So it's been keeping me busy getting the space set up. It is very empty, as you can see. You could probably hear it in the audio too. But yeah, Spider-Man's still here. So that he's been since episode one. So we're gonna keep him around as long as we can.
Right. Yeah, Spidey. There's a few things that are floating around that are since episode one. It's like on your
Yes,
end
man.
and my end too. Like it's like back here on the in my shelf. There's stuff that's been there since like the first episode. So that's cool, man.
For
Yeah,
sure,
my
for
my
sure.
shelves changed a little bit throughout the years. I got it to where it's mostly how I like it, but
Your setup
it,
is awesome.
it could always change. Thanks, man. I try to keep it clean, keep it
You got the
simple.
analog set up behind you, like
Oh
the
yeah,
the
look
little
at
TV. Like, come on, like
that. CRT, yeah, man. Yeah,
let's
we
go.
actually fired it up over the weekend. This
Oh,
past
cool.
was it this past weekend or one of this week? And it was not past weekend. It was the weekend before. Yeah. My
Okay.
daughter wanted to play the OG Super Mario Brothers, so
Wow.
she wanted to actually like try it for real and compare it um to Mario Maker. So because that's her point of reference for that game is Mario Maker, right?
Wow.
But when she
Yeah.
started playing it, I was like, oh, this is like weird and stiff. I was like, yeah, I told you, this is it's rough, right? It's like it didn't get good until Mario Two. Like Mario Two was definitely a lot more flexible, and then Mario Three, of course, one of the greatest games of all time. So yeah, no, we fire it up from time to time. It's been off for a while though, but I don't know if I mentioned we went to Cybertron a few weeks ago, but they didn't have anything that uh, really wanted to get immediately. They did have two copies, Joel, of freaking uh, Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Saturn. It's like
Wow.
one was like 950, the other one was like 1100. So the holy grail of Saturn games right there. They had a couple of them. Trust me, if I would have the resources and would still have my Saturn, for sure, man. But yeah, um, pretty good stuff. I've been wanting to go back to GamerSync, see what they got. I know that they kind of redid their store a little bit, but um, want to see what they got. But yeah, man, yeah, I'm really excited for you, dude. A
Thanks,
new
man.
new
Thank you.
space, and you're gonna make it your own, right? And
Yes,
go
sir.
go crazy. So it's a little better now, but like I know that next week is gonna look different.
Oh, for sure. It only
Yeah,
gets better from here.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna go up from here. Man, not much on my end. I was able to catch another episode of Echo, and again, I still think it's good. You know, I got one episode left, so I'll probably do that sometime soon, and then we can talk about it, right? And then grab the first episode of Bad Batch. I know that you said you watched all three, right? And
Yes,
you said that
sir.
last episode is nuts. I don't want to hear anything else. But that first episode, dude, um, a very different in tone. It was very sad, like a very somber. I really liked it because it was a different vibe. For it was more Andor ish than anything
Yes.
else. Yeah.
Very Andorish because of the whole just the prison issue. We'll talk about spoilers for the first episode only, guys,
Right.
here of Bad Batch season three. But like the whole thing with Omega following a routine day after day, you see that time has gone on. She's getting older, even in this, you can
Right.
tell
You can
of
tell at
how
least a couple of months passed. Yeah.
absolutely time has gone on of her being there, and she never gives up hope that she will get free and she will turn Crosshair. being denied day after day. No, this is not going to change. No, this is just how it is. Accept this. Take care of yourself. All these things, these words that are being said, and she still never changes her resolve.
Right.
It's very Star Wars. Like that
Yeah.
is, you think about like the whole point of just even the very first Star Wars film itself, A New Hope. It's based upon literally like hope in light of all the things that are going on around you, when it makes no sense that there's an entire empire in front of you and there's no signs of Hunter and Wrecker being there to get her out. There's no signs of anything changing. There's nothing that has been done to make you hold on to anything other than just inward yourself. And I'm not spoil. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like they take a long time building this up, and it makes it more profound what you see as it goes on as you get to that episode 2 and then episode 3. Because episode 2, I'm not spoiling anything, but that one just focuses primarily on, you see where Omega is, you'll see where Hunter and Wrecker are, and their pure desire of they will do whatever it takes to get Omega back.
Right.
But yeah, when you get to all that, I think it's like that great setup for the payoff that you get later on.
Cool.
Every little thing comes back to help, and every little thing comes back to make sense. And like that's just good writing. That's not wasting anybody's time. It can seem slow, and that probably is the slowest episode out of the 3 that we've gone from launch.
But it's building up. It's building
because
up
it's
something.
building
Like I say,
up. Like
and it does a really good
groundwork.
job. Yeah, and it does a really good
Yeah,
job at it. Right. It's like, and not only, um, in the process, she's trying to turn Crosshair's back. Right.
right.
She, inadvertently turning the assistant scientist on her side. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Emery Nalase is
Right.
already looking out for her. It's good stuff in that timing. Now, Obed, and this is not spoiling anything later on. I can say this for certain.
Right.
But obviously, you heard Nalase saying in that first episode, they're looking for the M count.
Right. Yeah. Midichlorians.
So,
Yeah.
what's your
It's
theories about this event?
midichlorians. It's
You
what
know,
it
it's,
is.
it's definitely midichlorians. But
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think is
It's it's
they're trying to clone?
it's
What are they?
Grogu. Like they're getting Grogu so they can clone the Emperor, so the Emperor can have a body with Force abilities, right? So
Because you could, but why specifically Omega's blood is the thing that like she keeps keeping as well.
who
Nala
no, I'll
say
say she's been discarding it.
every
Maybe
time.
maybe
Why?
she knows. Maybe
What's
she
in
knows that.
Omega's blood?
Maybe she knows that she's. I mean, she could be force
Force
sensitive,
sensitive?
right? We haven't seen it pop up,
No.
right? But
We
there,
also hadn't seen a female clone
right?
until her, and then Emery saying that she's also,
Exactly.
one of her sisters in essence, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it could be that's her, right? I still think that at some point the Empire had Grogu, um and then they lost him and then they got him back for a little bit and they lost him again, right? So uh, this could bridge into like the Mandoverse very well. Like I want to know exactly where in time this takes place because it seems like we're still like kind of in between like I want to say like 4 or 5 years after Order 66, right? So,
right.
but I'm curious to see exactly where we're at because they haven't really specified, right? They really didn't say how long was Omega out with this guy's doing the the bounty hunter thing or whatever. So
Right.
that some clarity in that would be awesome, right? But yeah, they're like they're totally what they're trying to do is clone Palpy, right? And the Palpy clones that are coming out, they're not for sensitives, which is probably what Palpatine's like son, right? Like Ray's dad, right?
Right.
So
That's why I'm thinking, is Omega like somehow related to Ray? Is that why? I don't know. Like I don't want to read too far and make too many theories, but like I could see it.
yeah, yeah, I could too. Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep watching. So
Yeah.
Joe, I wanna know. I wanna know. I wanna know what is up with Madame Web, sir. Sir. I see your
I,
face now.
I had to see it.
Okay, go.
I
You can like straight up. You can go crazy. You can go. I don't care.
You don't, and honestly, you shouldn't because this connects to nothing. This
Okay,
connects to absolutely
but
nothing.
we're
You
still gonna
can
give you guys
tell.
a spoiler alert, right? But Joe's
Yeah,
gonna go ham here on this thing.
I'm gonna tell you everything about Madame Web and what's going on here. Yeah, that movie has absolutely no purpose. There is no reason why you should be concerned about staying away from spoilers for it. Like I'm telling you right now, don't spend your money. Don't spend your time.
Oh
If
man.
when it goes on Netflix, you can probably watch it there. I wouldn't recommend it there either, but if you're really interested, you could. It's like Morbius. Like I don't know if you ever checked out Morbius, Obed. I know it's on Netflix. Don't do it. Like
Yeah, no,
you have
I
no
haven't seen
reason.
it.
Don't watch it. Don't do it. This is slightly better than Morbius, but that's not saying much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So with this one, you there's a lot of stuff that's in the trailers that don't make it to the movie, and stuff that you think that's going to be the movie's going to be longer. For an example, you probably thought that you were going to get a full sequence of the Spider Women, essentially. You don't. You have maybe 2 minutes max of seeing them in the suits out of the whole film. You there's not much of an action sequences for an action film at all. There's so the main villain, right? His name is Ezekiel, and he has this monkey spider like abilities from this hidden tribe, basically like in the Amazons in Peru, that because he was hunting for this specific spider with Madame Web's mother. Madame Web's mother hires him to be her bodyguard
Okay.
for while she's out in the Amazons to find this thing. And the moment that she finds the spider, he flips a switch, shoots everybody dead, including the mother, to take the spider because is it quote unquote, I came from nothing and I'm not going back to nothing. That is his entire premise for the whole film. You never see if he was poor and some colonizers took over his land. Like you don't know, like was this guy terrorized? Was his parents killed? Like did he have something happen with an inheritance? Like there is nothing
Didn't get a
more than that.
PS1.
Did he get a PS1? Did he get the Series S and he thought he was getting the X? I don't know, but
I love it.
he says that he came from nothing and he's not going back. He actually repeats the line, I want to say at least 2 more times in the movie, as that is his whole reasoning why he has to have power, and why he's a bad person. So we don't really understand his motivations at all. So he kills, Madame's mother is pregnant, and then the monkey spider people. I'm telling you, like, this is literally who these people are. I don't understand them. Just like somehow grab the mother, do some type of voodoo water thing, and make a spider bite her. The baby's born, the mother dies, but the spider abilities pass through her to the daughter, and now that's why
Oh,
she
so
has her
so she's
clairvoyance.
so she's just Blade, like Spider Blade.
Basically,
Okay,
basically.
it's dumb.
It's so cringe, so bad. And then the tribal leader of the monkey spider people is like, she will come back to find answers, and I will be here when she does. That's it. And look, as the time goes on, you just get a complete time jump. She's a woman in her early 30s now who's working with Ben. Obviously, we all know Uncle Ben, right? And my gosh, like it just continues on and on about her just being this completely loner, not a very nice person who just so happens to, out of the blue, have these visions essentially where she can all of a sudden see the future. It's after she falls into the water like she's going to die that triggers it because she's working a job. And then from there, she just keeps having these visions. Like that's it. And it's like live, die, repeat. Like she sees people, you're gonna die. Oh, guess no, I'm not. No, then they die. And it's like it's so boring. It's tiresome. She somehow bumps into all of these girls because one lives in her apartment. The other girl flicks her off because she was on a skateboard while she's trying to drive someone to the hospital in an ambulance. And then The other girl is the person who's in the ambulance stepdaughter who is kind of disowned or something. And it just it's like all these characters have absolutely no reason to get together. But for some reason in the future, Ezekiel has also the abilities to keep having these nightmares and dreams of the future where he sees these women killing him every night. Like that in the future, that's going to happen.
Okay.
You understand? Like I'm trying to make this even sound remotely interesting.
It
People are probably
doesn't. Yeah.
checking out and saying I have no care. But yeah, like from there, man, like when she finally starts to see like, oh, these girls are in trouble, and because he tries to, it's 2003, by the way. All this is happening in
Yeah, it's early
2003,
2000s, right? Yeah. There
right?
was speculation that it was that it was late 90s, but then yeah.
It's confirmed 2003 because that they show it right across the screen the year it is, and like these girls all get together at that time, and this guy somehow gets like seduces an NSA agent, and then like poisons her, has his poison ability. I don't know how he has his poison ability at all, but grabs her and poisons her to get her NSA passcodes. Works with some other hacker lady.
He just keeps
And
getting keeps getting powers out of nowhere. It's
he
like,
gets
oh
powers
yeah,
out
I
of
can do
nowhere. You
it.
don't know why he's a bad person, except that he came from nothing. We know, like he has these poison abilities, and then like he has access now to these NSA cameras with flat screens. It's 2003, bro, with like flat screens and like cell phone technology to be able to track people's faces, to be able to find where these girls are. And I'm like, this doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't
This wasn't a thing then.
not
Like, what are
really.
we? It's
Yeah.
not consistent. It wasn't that same then.
Right.
I'm not I'm not that young. I was around then. So like I know what was going on then. So yeah, like as you get towards the end and they all come together and they have their abilities and the way everything comes through, like almost like a Bollywood type film ending of the way that the action comes together where people are falling for like a long period of time and
Oh.
they're dead.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
serious, dude. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
like it gets so and so much more ridiculous as time goes on. But there's one saving grace with this movie. It's not even a saving grace. One thing that I was like, huh, that's cool.
Okay.
At the very end, she loses her sight
Oh,
and
she
she ends up in
becomes
a wheelchair.
she becomes Madame Web for realsies then.
For real.
Yeah.
And she has the little electrical chair with her black glasses. And she's like, bless you. Why? Chew. I knew you were gonna sneeze. It's like I'm serious.
Okay.
All the cliches on it. Yeah, I will say this movie. They probably thought they had a winner with it, but what they have to understand is you can't just make a movie just thinking and expecting it to do good because you have characters that are a part of the Spider-Man universe or because people love Spider-Man so
Right.
much. And even if Spider-Man was in this movie, which he's not, there's nothing about aside from him being born as a baby, you have Peter Parker being born, that they save Peter Parker from being born. That's a whole nother. I won't go into that.
Right.
But
Okay.
but like outside of that, even if Peter Parker was in this movie, it wouldn't have saved it. Because there's absolutely nothing else special. There's no post-credit scenes. There's nothing outside of this story that I can't describe all the details in between because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I heard it's bad. I just wanted to.
It's bad.
I just wanted to hear your impressions.
That's my rant. It's just not good.
I'm gonna clip it just to put it out there, just so people
Please
know.
do.
But yeah, yeah. I heard it's real bad. I have zero interest in watching this. I like this was one of the whys, right? It's like we when they announced this movie, we said why because we don't need this. Yeah, like I have zero expectations for Craven now.
I have to see that too, and now I'm like, ooh, I wasn't looking forward to that much either. Too.
Right.
We're in the same boat, but
Yeah.
I gotta see it too. It's Spider-Man universe.
See, at
but-
least like with Madame Web, like visually, right? The trailer made it visually interesting, but
Yeah.
you kind of knew that it was not great. But I like Craven. I think the trailer was pretty good. I like that trailer, so I don't know.
I agree. I don't think the trailer, to me the trailer didn't look good, but it looked more interesting for me at least. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It could be a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, Venom surprised me. I didn't think that was gonna be any good. and I actually think Venom's quite interesting. I'd rather watch both movies again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I guess in related news, we can start rolling through.
Let's go.
Um, so Disney decided that they are no longer going to make Blu-rays or physical media, and they are outsourcing their DVD slash Blu-ray business to Sony. So Sony will be manufacturing the Disney DVDs and Blu-rays. Um, that they don't really say specifically when they're taking over, as far as I know, right? But the deal's made. Sony's taking over. I'm not gonna play a Disney What Are You Doing, because I think this is actually a smart-ish move on their behalf, and I'm gonna tell you
Sure.
why. Um, as the business rolls down, right? As sales for physical media slow down, which they are, again, they could pick up again based on information numbers that are out there, right? Like we were seeing it in music, where physical media has made a resurgence. um, some people are expecting movies to make sort of like that same uh, resurgence, and we've seen it in gaming too, where a lot of people now are saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna buy my game because my physical game." Although, like on Xbox, you buy your game and you still gotta download the game, and like they'll sell you blank
Yeah.
disc basically with a license file. So, um, I think it's smart in Disney's behalf, because you don't have to worry about the manufacturing of this discs anymore, right? And I
Right.
think you're handling to a much better manufacturer of discs. Um, Disney Blu-rays specifically. Well, I want to say the Blu-rays and the 4K Blu-rays, like anything Blu-ray that Disney's done, has not been great. Um, I don't recall a standout Blu-ray like, oh, you gotta buy this Disney Blu-ray because this is the one that's gonna blow your socks off, right? Um, I've said it. I think I mentioned it on the podcast before, and I've talked to you about it. I've had Disney Blu-rays that have come out defective. I have to go back to the store and get them replaced.
Yeah.
I can't return it because they won't give me my money back, right? Because it's physical media, but I can exchange it for the same title if that's the case. So I've had two instances at least that I've had to take a Disney movie back to the store because it's defective, starts skipping, what sounds bad, whatever, right? Um, Sony, on the other hand, right? They make trash movies like Madame Web, but their manufacturing of physical
Yes.
media is on point,
Yes.
and they're very high quality. The Spider-Man movies, the and when I'm talking about the Spider-Man movies, I'm talking about like Spider-Verse are incredible on Blu-ray, and the MCU Spider-Man movies are great. Those are done by Sony.
Yeah.
um Going back to like even back to the beginning, like Casino Royale, like that's like an OG Blu-ray disc that I still have, and it still looks and sounds phenomenal. So I think this is the right move. There's no like real details about this, but I think it's a big deal. I think it's a good change. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hyped for this. I think, first of all, my thought was we know signs of the times. Like physical media, unfortunately, is going away. Even though I'm someone who hold on to it, like we know it's not really gonna last that long. So at least they didn't just kill it; they're just outsourcing it, really.
Right.
But we can still read the writing on the wall. Like eventually, they'll just completely stop manufacturing all in all, even outsourced. And look, let's face it, like Disney Plus has been the place for most people to expect to get all of their Disney movies. It's been the place where, whether it's the Marvels or Elementals or like any of the new Disney films that come out, like Wish now coming up, people are gonna look forward to that on there. Like that's been the home of Disney movies. And they don't really tend to treat it as a place where they remove films, at least yet. I know that there have been some things removed from Disney Plus,
Yeah,
but for the most part, from their film side, they tend to leave everything on there, which is pretty huge. Like Netflix is big on like removing stuff, even
they
sometimes
got
originals.
contracts, so they gotta move stuff around. Yeah,
Right. Like Disney's pretty good about keeping all their stuff on Disney Plus.
yeah,
Now, with Sony making and putting out stuff, like you said it, they're known for just having absolute success in like their hardware and just and their any of their tech just as a whole. Like even their films, I've joked, I'm like, if a Sony film, it might be bad, but it's gonna look darn good.
right.
Like that's there's no way we're like, Uncharted the movie wasn't that great, but it looked real
It looks
good.
and it sounds really good. Yep.
Sounds like they're not gonna mess that up. I would say the same thing about Madame Web. Like you didn't hear me complaining that it looked bad. Most of the complaints even online is that it actually looks bad. It's just wooden script and stuff like that, right? But like I would like to see them re-release, and you and I talked about this before, some other films that have already been released by them, like and like be making it like a clear thing, like, hey, we're gonna have a 4K version of this or a re-release of this film that it is really a visual spectacle. Thinking like
Right.
Star Wars films. For me, I think of films like Avatar. Like if you said like, oh, we're gonna re-release Avatar, like
Oh, the
on
OG, yeah, the
Sony,
first one,
the OG,
yeah,
yeah, like in
yeah, yeah.
4K or something like that.
Right.
That could be huge, because you know that it's gonna
Well,
probably
whatever the
come out
next
really
Avatar
well.
is gonna come out, and it's like they may not re-release it, right? But whatever the
Sure.
next one is, yeah, it may sure be on this thing. Um, yeah, and then I do, and I told you it's like, oh, dude, if they do Star Wars, I'll buy it because I've been really hesitant on buying those 4K Star Wars
Oh
movies,
yeah,
and it's just because of Disney's like subpar quality on when it comes to DVDs. So yeah, it's very strange. Like even back in the day, like when the Star Wars trilogy came out on DVD, that was iffy. That was Fox back then,
yeah,
but it was still iffy. But when the Blu-rays came out, the Blu-rays were pretty good. So yeah, it's very interesting. Very very interesting bit of news. Um, I think that there's a possibility that we'll see a resurgence with movies, and it's probably due to there's just too many streaming services. Um, On demand quality is not great.
mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of people invested on home theaters during lockdown. So to take full advantage of those home theaters, you gotta have your
Yeah,
discs, right? Even if you don't have a standalone player, playing it on a PS5 or an Xbox,
yeah,
that's still better than just streaming the movie. So
totally.
I could see this being a sort of a resurgence. With gaming, it's a little bit tougher, right? Because of movies just being what they are, and they are in the disc, and just play them. That it is what it is, right? But with gaming, when you have so many moving parts and updates and patches and add-ons and all this, right? It's a lot more involved. So I don't see this type of resurgence being necessarily applicable to gaming, but at least to movies, I do see where this could take off. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and when you go talk to, like, we'll go back to going back to music, right? It's like the CD sales are up. It's weird. Like even CDs are coming back, and it's not even like hipsters buying vinyl anymore. It's like even
no.
CDs
Well,
are getting back. So
the Y2K, like even just style and some of the stuff is also coming back too. So that probably helps. I mean, you
yeah,
see you see the youth walk around with wired headphones. It's like, hey, look at
right.
that.
Walkmans, and dude, one of
Yep,
one of these days I'm gonna show up to the office with my Discman. It's like I still have it.
that's awesome.
Dude, it's funny because my wife was cleaning her drawer in the like her trash drawer. Like we all have a trash drawer, right? So I cleaned mine a few weeks ago. It's just like I should do that too. So last weekend she cleaned it, and she comes over and is like, "Oh, look what I found." And it was a Sony MP3 player, Walkman.
Wow,
Yeah, from back in the day. So those things
look
were
at
really
that.
good. Like they still sell those. Like the Sony still makes the Walkman, they're like $1,000, dude, because they're like uncompressed audio and all this stuff, and they run Android. So Apple, they don't make their iPod anymore, so they basically own the market now when it comes to MP3. That you see it like freaking Kojima posts
Totally.
like pictures from his Walkman. He doesn't use his phone for music. Look, he's a music snob, so every time he posts a picture of I'm listening to this, it's his Walkman. So it's crazy. Uh, yeah, man, it's an interesting time. So we'll see. There's really no details, but if anything comes out, we'll surely update. And when it comes to updates, Joe, there is a tentative release for Star Wars: The Acolyte. Rumor is that the show is going to be released on June 5th of this year. Um, I'm still I'm still not gonna watch it. So you tell me how that goes, man.
Yep, 3 episode rule. I'll stick to it. This is if I don't finish this show, this will be the first time that there is a Star Wars show that I never finished. I'm talking even animated. I mean, the Star Wars that Resistance show that was on like Disney Plus for like 2 seasons and like stuff like that. Like Lego Star Wars, dude. I watch all of it, all of it. If that show is that bad, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And right now, everything on paper says it's either gonna be really great or really bad.
Right.
But
It's weird.
we'll find out. June 5th is soon enough this summer.
Right.
And I don't know how many. Have you heard how many episodes it is?
Let me see if there's anything on
I
this
can't
article.
imagine it's more than 8.
Mm,
Which if it's let's just say it's 6, let's just say then my 3 episodes would be I'd see at least half of the
right.
season to know the
It's
direction.
yeah. It's probably 6, but they don't. It's not
They don't say.
specified. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if you haven't been following, is the reason that I'm not following that I'm not watching this show is that you gotta show more respect for source material and the people that worked on the originals. Right? Is I I feel like this is a project that, given the direction that Disney is going to right now, that this wouldn't have been like if it were today, this wouldn't have been greenlit, in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah.
this would happen.
The executives today.
Right. Back then, when the choices were made that this thing was going to happen, uh, sure, but yeah, like right now, it's still very strange. Like I still like I'm still like baffled. I was like, why? Like some of the choices that were made, back when all of this stuff started getting made and pitched and all that. I just don't understand. But I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't want to be that guy, right? It's like I want to give everything its due respect, but at the same time, right? It's like, and I'm on. It's like I love Andor. I you know what? And even I could watch episode 9 and still have a good time. It's like because
Sure,
I'm like
sure.
I'm not. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is again my number
Hmm.
one thing. But I'm not gonna be a baby about it. But when it comes to this thing, right? I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
I it's so straight. That's the exact perfect line because that's the same way I feel. Like
Yeah.
everything in me tells me like have such low expectations.
Yeah.
And the timing, like the timeline they're going for, that kind of old High Republic time, like could be super awesome.
Right. Right. Right.
There are going to be Wookiees and so many Jedi, and then potential like really a show that focuses more on the Sith and like how the power of the Sith and their rise and all this stuff. It sounds like this could be a really incredible, different perspective type of show, and maybe even start getting into the rule of two a little bit and stuff like that. But everything that has been spoken sounds like anything that we love about Star Wars, throw it out, and they're just trying to do something completely new. And I
Right.
love new, but I love new that still says like, hey, you love this thing, We're gonna like how Bad Batch. I've been telling the
Right,
people
right,
watching
right,
that
right.
when you watch, and we haven't finished the season. We're only 3 episodes been released, but I'm like, how hard is it to make content like this? That just keeping us simple, like giving us a good time. That simply it feels like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. It walks like Star Wars. It is Star Wars without trying to like push everything under the sun just to make you feel like you've done something special. Anything other than give us like a legitimate story
Right.
that people actually connect to and find to be profound and truly have deep meaning. Like there's deep meaning in some of these things that Star Wars has done in the past. Things
Yeah.
like hope and redemption and just things like that. They're just consistent themes. I don't expect any of that in the Acolyte. Maybe we'll get it. We'll see. I
Yeah.
will give it a chance. I will give it a chance.
Yeah. You tell me how it is. Like
Yeah, I'll tell you.
if you come back and tell me, dude, this thing's gonna, like, no lie, blow your socks off, I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Right. I'll do that. I'm man enough to admit it. Right.
Oh, for sure. You're not like
But
that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out of my. I was like, I'm not gonna be like refreshing Disney Plus at 9 o'clock, the day that they drop the video just to watch it, right? Like
Yeah.
I did with Ahsoka, because I did that with Ahsoka, right?
Oh, I was
But
every night. I
yeah,
loved that. I can't wait for something like that again, right?
right,
Where it's like a
because it's
premiere night.
right. But this one is like, I'll wait for you to tell me about it, on the podcast, and then we'll go from there. But
For sure.
you know, if it's good, I'll give it a chance. But if I don't see that it's, if I don't hear anything, or if I hear people saying, I was like, oh yeah, they desecrated Star Wars, which I'm sure that there's people gonna be saying that even if they don't. But if you tell me it's like, dude, like they messed so much with the lore that you're not gonna like it, then I'm fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, I guess
Yeah. We'll
I
see.
guess
We'll see.
time will tell. Um, I guess keeping it with Star Wars, Joe, Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct, more of a partner showcase, and they announced one of the best games ever coming out for. It's actually coming out for for everything, not just Switch. But the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection's coming out on March 14th, and that includes Battlefront 1 and 2. When we're talking about the PlayStation 2 era Battlefront games, are you excited, sir? They're keeping multiplayer in.
Yeah, I'm so happy that they're keeping multiplayer in like that. This is one of those ones that I would play and just stream on the No Time Twitch just for a good time. Like this is one of those ones I think we should do it.
Yeah, this is, to me, this is a Switch game.
Yeah. Oh, for
Because
sure.
this, I mean, it's an older game. It probably lends itself better to be like a portable game at this point in time, right?
Yeah,
So I think this would be a really good Switch game. You can just
for sure.
grab and play. It's got multiplayer. The multiplayer on this game was iffy. I actually played it back at the PS2 days. Um, it's a little all over the place, and it was super laggy back then, right? So I'm not entirely sure how this it worked, but we'll see. But even if you play like Battlefront 2 just to do the missions on like a Switch, dude, freaking great, man.
Oh, for sure.
These games are real good. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that these games are coming out. Um,
Keeps them alive, like because people could like just have these memories of them, and then they don't get a chance to play it on next gen, so they just remember what it was, and like you're keeping like old content alive and like preserving its history and legacy. I love that.
yeah, yep. And then the other game that they showed up, that this one actually took me by surprise. They're doing a remake of Epic Mickey. Did you ever play Epic Mickey in the Wii days?
No, that was one of those ones I always wanted to, but I never had a Wii.
Yeah,
So
same.
yeah.
Same. So yeah, Epic Mickey Rebrushed is coming out. Full price game. So they're actually um, coming out and saying that, I don't think it has a date as far as I know. But I know that it's up for pre-order, but it's a $60 game. So
Oof,
yeah, I mean it's a hard sell, but I heard the game is really good. So
yeah.
uh, not a lot of play. I don't think that a lot of people actually played this game.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Probably the first one, yes. The second one, probably not. Because then after that, they wanted to make a third one, it never happened, and then they closed the studio down, like Disney back in the day closing all these gaming studios. But um, yeah, this was an interesting one, and yeah, it looks good. You know, I'm good with this game getting a remake, or it definitely looks better than the Wii version. It does look like a remake,
Yeah.
not just a remaster. Um, those are probably the other like big thing of note that they showed at that showcase. But other than Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which is basically kind of like the royal version of that game, and yeah, I mean it was cool little showcase. Not nothing too crazy. I wasn't expecting too much, so I guess it was on par. And but now, Joe, mystery solved, because we finally know, because it was announced. Two of them were announced on the Switch showcase, but an hour later, everything was confirmed. So they finally confirmed what the four Xbox games that are coming out on other consoles are. So during the Nintendo showcase, they showed Grounded and Pentiment are coming out for the Switch, and then they announced Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves coming out for PS5. So Hi-Fi Rush coming out March 19th, and then Sea of Thieves comes out in May, if I'm not wrong. Let me double check. Uh, I think I saw May somewhere. I don't see it in my article here. But I do know that and they also confirmed that Pentiment and Grounded are also coming out on PlayStation. So there you have it. I'm a man of my word. I'm buying Hi-Fi Rush Day One. Comes out,
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
buy it. Yeah, I may even pre-order because there's a discount right now for PS Plus. So I think that you know. So this shows how accurate those rumors were, and they
Totally.
must have backtracked on Starfield and Indie.
Indie.
They must have back. They either backtracked or they're not giving you the whole story.
I don't I don't think Indiana Jones will forever be an exclusive.
Okay.
That's going to change, I think.
Okay. Yeah, because the like the rumors were on point on this one. It's like
Sure,
it's
sure.
four games coming out. These are the games, and they did the thing last week. They didn't say anything, and then here's the games, right?
Right.
So the rumors were correct. So that means that at some point it was discussed internally, at least, that
Correct.
those games are coming out for PS5. So that may still be the case. It may not be immediately, right? It may not happen right now,
True.
but who knows? Like Summer Games Fest comes around, and I was like, hey, by the way, I think indie, like you said, I don't. I think indie may be like a year or something.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it being like the Spider-Man treatment where like you give it a little time and then it's coming to PC and like I think they'll do the same thing, but it will go to PS5. I don't think that game won't be on another next gen. Like they could make so much money from it. It's just a financial decision. Like you're losing money by keeping it as an exclusive, unfortunately.
Right.
Um, yeah, there's no way around. I see for the time being. I think it's actually smart that at launch games like that they keep it as an exclusive. I could think that's fine,
Yep.
but give it a year, like you said.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you see Phil saying that today that he wants Call of Duty on Game Pass like day one?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. Yeah, they do Call of Duty on Game Pass. That's a big deal, especially for PC. I think more for I know that Call of Duty has a big following on Xbox, right? But if you have a decent PC that can run Call of Duty
Right.
and you have Game Pass, I think I that's a big deal there. But
Totally.
it's like I know they're kind of desperate to get more people into Game Pass, but is that a right move, right? Are you
Yeah.
you're cutting like Call of Duty is usually like the highest selling game of the year when it comes out.
Yeah.
And you're gonna undercut. Like this is not free, bro.
Not at
Like Game
all.
Pass, like Game Pass, like games on Game Pass are not free. Like, and they're not gonna pay themselves, right? It's like $10 a month. It's I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I'm
don't
with you.
I don't think that's the right move right there because you can still sell this game. People are still gonna buy it. Like it doesn't matter
Totally.
if it's on Game Pass or not. People are still gonna buy Call of Duty. It's like why are you doing this? Like there's a like someone tells me something like if I would be like Satya, right? And Phil comes back and tells me that, I was like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that, dude? It's like it's
Totally.
selling fine. You don't have to, right? And I know like he wants to like strengthen the service and make it more appealing so more people sign up. Um, it, I was listening to a few podcasts last week after the announcement when they said that they have 34 million Xbox or Game Pass subscribers.
Right.
I heard that what they did is inflate the number because they folded in the. Did you know how the Xbox Live how they renamed it to
Yes.
Game Pass Core? They folded those guys into Game Pass into that number,
No
and that was about like
way.
12 million people.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So if you're talking about 34 million subscribers for Game Pass slash Xbox Live, it's, it's not a lot
No, not at all.
considering
Not at
how
all.
many people have PCs. Like right, like when you're talking like the Asian market, and then if you're a gamer, if you don't have a console, you have a PC, and you don't have Game
Totally.
Pass still, right? And even with Xbox, is Game Pass on Xbox One? Because
I think
I'm
so.
sure that there's people still on Xbox One, right?
I think it still is.
So
Let me check right now.
yeah, me too.
I think
Game,
it is.
Game Pass, Game Pass
Says it
subscriptions
is.
are available. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Game Pass is available. Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, and your mobile device.
yeah.
So
How are they at 34 million, man? That's weird.
oh, I know
It's a weird number, right?
for sure.
Um and now and then Phil comes out and says like, "Oh, we're committed to physical media." But then you're releasing a console with no disc. Like dude, you're taking away the disc. Like what are you doing? Like
Totally.
I doubt it, man. That's like again, like since we all know like we know that the man behind the curtain now is like it's not this gaming superhero as a lot of the community made him to be.
Yeah.
Like that is a he that like he said that is a very political thing to say because he said it and he doesn't even believe it himself. Like that's like
Yeah.
politicians do. It's like they would say it, they don't even believe it. And that's the he did the same thing. I don't think like dude if you ask he's not on board on that. There's no money to be made there. Like there's more money just to go all digital. Cut the middleman. Problem is that they're going to be affecting a whole industry, right? The retail and unless they really care about retail partners. But I mean, from what I've seen, right, they don't. Like Best Buy taking out games, Walmart, the Xbox section is like empty. They're like I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's there's I think there's a lot that they're not saying. I think there's alarms that rang at some point at
Oh, totally.
Xbox, and we're just seeing what the reaction is. It's like, oh, the alarm went off. What do we do? And that's what we're seeing now. So
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be like the next year for Xbox is gonna be really interesting.
For sure.
Considering again that rumors for PS5 Pro are ramping up for this year. Switch 2 allegedly delayed until next year.
Yeah.
Why? Why will you do that? Right? And then I guess there was a correction from some of the what Sarah Bond said in the event last week that they're not what they're calling next gen is actually a mid gen refresh. So it's basically a mid gen refresh that's gonna be like crazy to like better than what they have now. So it's still gonna be an Xbox Series device, but it's gonna be like way better. But I don't know, man. I don't. It's weird. It's weird with PlayStation 2, but these guys are again. Totoki came out with a paper, read it, and left, and that's it. These guys are just all these reactionary things that they're doing. I don't know. It's strange, but we'll see. And last bit of news that I have here, sir. We finally have the first look for Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. And let me tell you something, Joe. If you play an Elden Ring and watch this trailer, you're probably really excited.
I haven't played Elden Ring yet. I know that's only one of the biggest games of like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
But I never played it, dude.
Yep. June 21st. So I'm glad it's later during the year. Yeah, man, this looks nuts, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. After I put in, all those hours, I don't even remember how many hours I put in on that game. So, I think like 120 maybe. Yeah, this game's insane. This game's nuts. Like, and it looks like it's gonna be getting crazier with the DLC. So, I'm really excited. I'm sure you watched the trailer, but
Yeah.
Very very cool stuff. I'm hyped. A lot of people are. I was watching the review. I was watching the reveal live. There were like 340,000 people watching it live.
No way.
Yeah, on their YouTube channel.
There's still that much love for it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
huge.
It's crazy.
Or is this a fad?
I've seen 1,000-hour playthroughs out there.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Commitment.
Yeah. No, this game is it really is a time sink because you truly gotta commit. Like this is a game like this and Tears of the Kingdom. Like you gotta those are the kind of games that you gotta go and approach. You gotta commit, like to get what these games are really are, and you gotta be committed to the time sink and do the 100 hours at least because it's.
For sure.
It's a lot. But yeah, I'm very excited, man. I'm super hyped. Reviews for Final Fantasy dropped today, and Joe I think it's at 93 on Metacritic right now. Let me check. Yes, still a 93 at Metacritic. So comes out next week. So hyped. I'm really excited. I was like, I haven't even played the demo because I don't want to play. I was like, I wanted to, but I just want to go in.
A pure experience, like everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to go in there, man. So very much looking forward to it. So that's it, man. Unless you have anything else.
That's all I got too. Glad that we're back. Looking forward to a lot more great content coming this year. Make sure you stay tuned, stay subscribed to No Load Time. We are on podcast platforms of your choice. Think SoundCloud, Amazon Music, Spotify. We're out there. Subscribe to us on those podcast platforms. Also, write reviews on there if you could too. That would really help us out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel where you're watching the video versions. Like those videos, drop us comments. We'd love to hear and interact with each of you. We really appreciate the support. Additionally, we'd like you to follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Facebook Threads, Instagram, TikTok, X. We're out there. Follow us. You also can follow us on Twitch, No Load Time. That's No Load Time altogether on Twitch. Maybe one day we'll be streaming the Battlefront Classics
right?
For the multiplayer. I don't know. We'll see. But follow us on Twitch there, No Load Time altogether. And last but not least, if you have a question, comment, feedback, send us an email, noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Maybe what you even send us, we'll talk about on a future episode. Thank you all so much for sticking with us, and we'll be with you next time.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.